let's talk about attachment. Attachments can be seen as a negative thing, but it depends what it is you're attached to. Because being attached to a political or religious point of view involves faith, and that involves putting your faith into this thing, into this ideology that has its narrative, and that becomes your reality when you believe it. That's why in Gnosis, I like the fundamental principle of entertaining everything but believing nothing. The closest thing to what we know is our felt presence of experience, our own individual observation. And even that can sometimes be an illusion. But that's the closest hard evidence we have to our own, what we make of the world, our internal world and external world. And so it's being attached to beliefs that has this weird effect in the collective consciousness when it comes to what people think is okay and acceptable, and they can explain away, and thinking a way for them to be in control of their own life. So it's grounding for them. I found peace in admitting the truth, which is that I don't really know what's going on. And that's the kind of Gnostic, existential, ontological place I've come to. Now, the pain that's attached to attachment is what really messes with us. But I think when it comes to attachments in healthy relationships, that's like a normal part of life. That feels more natural than attachment to a belief system or an ideology. So my belief system is kind of to be a bit skeptical, but still entertain the possibilities. And understand the emotions in the felt presence of experience that affect all of that, like fear. Like, people give their faith to these beliefs because of fear oftentimes. The fate of their soul, or what they're doing here, or their life's purpose, which can be good but also has its consequences, especially if you're wrong, which they all seem to differ and affect this kind of polarity. And when people complain about the world, a lot of people say, well, if everything was perfect, it would just be boring. And my counter to that is that I think boring is just something we experience here because of how limited our consciousness is here. I've been to other worlds and dreams where the felt presence of experience, like my spectrum of awareness, was different. There was more to the spectrum. There was more there than there is here. So there's something blocked that somehow we're blocked from, that is part of us. And that's where things go amiss here. And there's just so much more that we don't realize in that realm of what we don't know, that we just can't picture anything different than this. Like, with all of our consciousness, we have more imagination, there's more possibilities. But limitation is also nice because you can explore a certain role or a certain dynamic. But there has to be a balance, because in this world it's compromised by people or entities that take advantage of other people and affect the felt presence of experience. There's an invasion within the felt presence of experience in this world. And the more you start to recognize these different things, the more you can see what is natural to you and what is you and what's an invasion on your presence. And a lot of them are obvious, like stuff like greed or jealousy or any kind of dysphoria. I guess it's not necessarily the person's fault, but like they go through, like I go through like depressions, and I know that that's like a demonic, archonic thing. And so the more I realize that's not actually who I am, the more I've been able to parse my way through it, navigate through it in a way where I'm not self-deprecating. I mean, I still do joking around. Like, I'm not perfect or anything, of course, but I'm able to recognize these things, and it gives me stability to know what is truly of me and what isn't. Like using your own intuition on this kind of aesthetic of thinking. So that's really all I wanted to say. Like outside of this, and like there's other worlds like this that aren't as compromised, and you get to experience different roles, and you get to maybe play a role that you really shine in, and that like dynamic, like it's like you're like the perfect piece for that part of the puzzle. And that's kind of the sense of belonging that we feel like we lack here, because we're just getting exploited by dominator society instead of like really being in the partnership society that is what we are. We're creatures of partnership society. And there's so much of that to explore that we haven't really had the opportunity to here. So